Hi, my name is Sunil Suresh. I started this company in 1996. We started doing automotive seating, custom automotive seating. It's taken us time. It didn't happen overnight. It took us 30 years, but here we are. The Indian furniture market is about 60 billion. So there is a great opportunity for make in India for India first. I like cars and I couldn't afford them those days, so we started upholstering nice cars. And yes, we were there in the right time at the right place, and the Indian premiumization had just started after almost 15 years of dominance of Maruti. A lot of car companies came in 1995 to 2005. So Stanley was actually built as a brand, custom manufacturing, customizing automotive seats across the country. What started as one car a week went on to be 500 cars a month. So that's how we went. Then the OEM people followed us. They said, you're doing damn good work in the aftermarket. Can you start supplying? Then we became OEM suppliers to Toyota, to Ford, to General Motors, and to Mitsubishi those days. And that's how the automotive business started going. Meanwhile, somewhere around 99, one of the customers who used to regularly come and get his car upholstered with us said, Sunil, why don't you make me a sofa? So that's how it all started. I said, why not? Let's take a look at it. And he had given me a torn page from a catalog that he had bought when he had traveled to Japan. And we looked at that particular design and we made something, and it really came out quite nice. And of course, then that sofa went to his home in the housewarming, and my phone started ringing once again. They said, I believe you made this sofa, so can you make for us? So that's how it was. Once again, second time we were lucky, we were in the right place, the right time once again. And that's how we started entering into the furniture business. So 2001, we opened our first showroom in Bangalore. And then, cutting it now, what we realized is somewhere around 2005, the actual luxury cars started coming into the Indian market. The German cars like BMW, Audi, Mercedes. So the high-end customers who came to us for car seats actually would go to the OEM and buy. While we had our OEM business, we slowed down the custom car seat business. And then we started focusing more on the furniture. And that's how we grew our business. And by 2015, we had covered the entire country. We had stores all over the nation. And by 2018, we raised some private equity to grow the company. And 2024, last year, we listed the company. So today we are probably one of those very few Indian companies which have invested very deeply into understanding the world of fine furniture. So we play mostly in the premium and luxury end of the market, where it's more than tech, it's about craft. So we play in areas where we are able to do fine products. India has phenomenal craftsmanship. They are very unutilized and untapped. So skilling is a very big thing that we concentrate on. We have 2 facilities today and we have about 1,500 employees. We have 70 showrooms all over India. So we manufacture in India and for India. Of course, having said that, most of the material we import because the ecosystem is not ready. We don't get high quality material in India as yet. So we import all the fine material. To be truly international, you need to use international raw material. So that's what we have been doing. Very, very, very finicky about our quality. And I think we have touched 100,000 customers in almost 30 years now. And I believe at least 98% of them are supremely happy. And that's what we have actually done. So 1996, when I started, probably we were very naive. We did not have the required exposure, the global exposure. We were just swimming in a pool that we thought had plenty of scope to grow. But today, after almost 30 years of global exposure, understanding the industry in depth and seeing where we are, I personally believe that the Indian government is a bit what you can call as, they think that it's all about export. But funnily, if you really look at what happened to China, China basically was nothing when it was 30 years ago. It was in a position where India and China were on the even keel. When I started way back in 1996, I remember reading a magazine which said India and China both had sold only 100,000 cars a year. 100,000 cars a year. Where is China today? Where is India? So, but China boomed primarily because they had the opportunity and outsourcing happened at the right time, and the government supported the entire industry in a very organized, meaningful way. They set up export zones, and that was how exports took off in China. But in India, we don't have that ecosystem. We have not yet created that ecosystem to be competitive enough to start exporting. So perhaps, like I said, and also the time zone has changed. When China was exporting to the world, most of the countries that were importing from China was in prime condition. They were, absolute consumption stories were happening in those countries. Today, those countries are actually going to a slower consumption area. And the consumption, then China again caught up because they had the domestic consumption. In India today, it's a 9 a.m. movement. We are just about to start consuming. If we are not able to cater to our own country, how will we export? That's another question we need to ask. So I felt that Indian government should do what they did with the automobile, for example. That's a classic case where they say you can't import CBU, but you can get it in CKD or assemble here, and they put heavy tariffs on CBU. That's why we have so many car companies today. We have 50 brands. There were just 2 brands 25 years ago. We have 50 brands of companies that are manufacturing and assembling in India. So likewise for furniture, I think they need to block it a bit, like they've done for footwear and they've done for toys. If you block it a bit, today we are unable to compete because whether it's a China, Vietnam or Malaysia, their ecosystems are so perfect and they are able to give highly competitive pricing, and they're dumping it into our country. There are thousands of traders who go under invoice and bring it from there and sell here. So real manufacturers like us find it very difficult to compete. We can't compete with those prices, not yet. But that is going to happen provided you kind of give us a little more protection in terms of making sure that they don't dump their products here into the country, and then create the ecosystem. And with scale, once we are able to get the scale, which we are trying really hard, and we are getting there. Once we get that, then I'm very confident that first we can cater to our own country and then also export. See, there was a rush of so many inquiries that we got 2, 3, 4 years ago when they said China +2 strategy. But they realized that we are not, competitive enough. And that's how it is. And we cannot be because, our BOM cost is what they're supplying. So that's where the challenge lies. So I think if the Indian government can support this, it's a massive industry. China alone exports around $100 billion worth of furniture. India hardly does less than $1 billion. So you see what is the opportunity. But export can't come first. You have to start, strengthening our hands to actually cater to the domestic market. Today there's an article in IKEA said that the Indian furniture market is about 60 billion. So there is a great opportunity for make in India for India first. Then let's worry about exporting. Why are we giving an opportunity when we are actually growing? Just now the Indian premiumization has started. As you see, furniture actually follows the residential homes or offices in the construction industry. So today we have a golden opportunity here, and I think it's a very, very easy industry it's a lot of, manpower is required. It can create a lot of jobs, and that's what it's all about. We can skill people. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. It's very simple. We can do it. Of course, you need good talent in terms of design. That we can always outsource and, do good high quality manufacturing. Yeah, having said that, we work with international companies now. We took it up as a challenge, and we are able to also give the required pricing. So we do some exports. We have started that export business now. But most importantly, we are very focused on ensuring that we are able to make in India for India, which is, in my opinion, most important. We are able to retain our jobs here in this country, cater to, and also the customers now see that our qualities are perhaps even better than most of what imports are. So it's taken us time. It didn't happen overnight. It took us 30 years, but here we are. I'm primarily now more focused on, giving Indian homes good design. Let me start with that. If you realize that we are a country that is absolutely cluttered, we don't have good ecosystems in terms of greenery, parks, there's no peaceful environment. The only place you can be happy is in your home. And what is truly happening is, there has been a hoarding kind of attitude. People clutter their own places. So they come and buy, even if there's a small living room, they'll say, I'll put 8 seaters of sofa here. I said, no, we should have just 4. You don't need. What is your requirement? You don't have to crowd it. So if you look at our designs today, we are evolving also. We did that in the past, but now we realize that we're trying to make designs that are, harmonious, calm, soothing. We reduce the material palette. Don't make it a, heavy, crowded and kitsch kind of a place. So then customers, after they have moved into the house, they say, yes, this is much, much nicer. In fact, recently we had a customer, who was made a big villa and they wanted a lot of stuff and they gave us the design mandate and we made the homes. And after a year he called me, Sunil, we don't feel like going to any restaurant. Every time I want to go back home now. It's so nice what you made for us. So finally, that's what a home should be. So that's where we are getting at. So at this stage, declutter is what we are doing in terms of design, making it clean, very functional. Also, it's not just looking good, it has to be functional, it has to last long, ergonomics, comfort, bunch of other things is what we really are putting into our products, and we're getting it right. And of course, if you look at the Western worlds, they make the products for much taller people. The average German furniture, for example, is all made for 6'1", 6'2". In India, we have to, make sure that it's for between 5'6" and 5'9", and that's how we have kind of understood. And being in the country for so long and understanding the likes and dislikes of different cities, Delhi has got its own flavor, Hyderabad has got its own flavor, Bombay has got its own requirements because it's not a villa city, so it's mostly apartments, high rise, yeah. So we have understood the traits of each of these cities, and I think we are very well poised to cater to every Stanley customer a high quality product that they will actually, it will grow with them. And unfortunately or fortunately, the products we make last a lifetime, so we don't get them as a repeat customer, but then they're very happy. They refer us, but then that's what it's all about. Yeah. The way the world is going, I've stopped thinking 10 years. I've started thinking only about 3 years or 4 years maximum. Of course, you have a very long-term vision, but I also know in the long term we are all dead. So my funda is let's keep it simple. Let's work on an annualized basis, and next 3 years my vision is to take the company to 10,000 crores market cap, and that's where we are driving. So it's very funny, we have crazy FTAs signed with a bunch of neighboring countries and they're all unilateral. I have got enquiries from Indonesia, I have enquiries from Thailand, I have enquiries from Sri Lanka. They're slapping maximum duty on our products and we are giving them, zero duty on FTA. It's a very funny kind of an arrangement. So at least make it bilateral if you cannot, So that's something that's very important. If they can talk to those governments and make it bilateral, we can start exporting immediately. There are a lot of inquiries that we have, but unfortunately the duties are so high, we cannot send to those countries. And from those countries, they're pumping in furniture into the country with zero duty. So FTA is a big pain as far as I'm concerned. Government has to look at it. Otherwise, there's no way we can start, exporting. Secondly, there's also a massive underinvoicing that happens here. There is no price discovery. A lot of traders from India go as a group of people, as a syndicate of people. They buy a lot of hundreds of containers, actually thousands of containers of furniture in China, which are not really of a very high quality. Of course, BIS, they're talking about implementing it, but I'm sure that will also kind of curtail this. But I think they should definitely do what they did with, footwear and toys, where, initially for CBU, completely built unit, increase the tariffs so that you can block that for a while. And then let the Chinese come and manufacture here. Let the Japanese come and manufacture it like the way they have done with cars. So that will create the work in my country. That's what I keep telling people. It's very important to get the, majors to come and manufacture here. Nobody is really coming and manufacture here. Everybody wants to export. What will we do? We don't have oils to sell. We have to import oil also. So I can understand this happening with Saudi Arabia. They can, buy anything from anywhere because they're, pumping out so much oil to the whole world. But what do we have? So it's very important that we need to actually now go through the manufacturing journey for the next 5-10 years. First be self-reliant to consume, give it to our own consumers, and then think of export. This is what I feel.